This nationality, maybe Belgians or expats, because we at this moment have a lot of expats, but as we all know, we do need Belgians, because on several reasons expats go away, come to Belgium and go away.
And Belgians stay.
Yeah, Belgium, most of the time stays. Also students, but I'll come to that later. The second thing is...
Sorry, but so for the Belgians, what's the insight that we're going to attract the typical Belgian to something like Toastmasters? What's the insight about that population?
Then you come to the second and third dimension.
Okay.
The second dimension, professional, or the corporate one, the people who are working, or the students. But the problem with students is, even in a city, in a university like Ghent, where Toastmasters Ghent is situated, we've got, when you're coming to a university or to a place, you go for 4 or 5 years, but also then you go away. So you need students, like you need expats, but also you need people who work or live in a certain city. So, second one is students or professionals. The third one is maybe if it's for professional reasons or just for fun, for people who are retired, people who want it as an extra activity, to get more confidence, to speak maybe at the party with their family or so. So these are the 3 very important dimensions that we chose.
Okay.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Just coming back to the Belgians, what I had in mind as well, being an expat in this country, that modesty is perceived as a high virtue, as one of the virtues in Belgium, and I think that's where we could, link Toastmasters coming out, of that modest way and actually be in public and speak in public.
I think no one can dispute those 3 groups as potential Toastmasters. I think what we're missing are the insights. What you basically answered is who. Remember, it's on the panel there, the FIND model, F-I-N-D. Facts. Who, what, when are these people? The I, insights into their behavior. So professionals and students, yes, but what's the insight? The insight is they're looking for a networking opportunity where they can learn and grow, for example. It's an insight. A student doesn't have much money, but has a lot of determination to develop themselves. Toastmasters. It's cheap, and they have time, right? So, and the N are the needs. What are the needs of? We broached the subject a little bit sensitive, maybe insensitive, the way I said, but we're not known in Belgium as really, what are the needs of the typical professional student or person who might be interested in this? And finally, what are the dreams? I think when you start tapping into what are people dreaming of, most of us have more nightmares about public speaking than dreams. What is the thing that's going to catch people's imagination? It's not enough just to list who. We won't be able to come up with a real strategic platform unless we have some insights into those populations. So what I'd like to ask is there somebody who's really fascinated with this idea of finding insights into the audience? And I would like to work with that person. Yes? Thank you. Okay, and your name is?
Kesa.
Kesa. Okay, so Kesa, maybe you and I can work on it together after, because we're going to come up with those 3 insights and then see how they can be used for the other groups. Thank you, Kesa. Okay, so we're going to move to the B. B for brand. And our spokesperson is? No, you sat in the good chair. You've already been spokesperson.
My signature brand, so I'll do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, there you
Yeah, it's your turn.
Anthony, it's Anthony brand identity.
So in terms of brand identity, there are several good things written on the board, but in terms of Toastmasters, probably one of them would be definitely like fun. It's something which is like fun to do. Also, we thought personal development is something that people are interested in personally, and peer learning. So we all learning together, we're all here together, so peer learning is one of them. We also had a lot of discussion actually about success being one of them, and also listening.
Great. Okay, so we've got 3 majors and 2 extra support ones there, and I think we can work with that. So for example, as a brand that's fun, about personal development, peer learning in the context of listening and success, we could then combine that. What does that have to do with the professional working in Belgium? Well, there'd be some natural connections where they're both about progress, personal development, but maybe fun, and that would be take a break from work where you can also learn and grow as a combination of those two.
Yeah, there's something that I learned in talking to people about Toastmasters, and the immediate reaction was they seem to think it's some kind of school. So I think part of the brand identity is a club.
Yeah. I think that word of peer learning, togetherness.
Yeah, but it
that's quite,
doesn't, you do that in a school too.
yes, but I would say it's true. It's a distinction. It's more about a
It's
community as
it's
opposed
a
to
club or a community rather than a school. That's the first reaction. It's a school. I don't want to go to school.
So at the same
I
time,
don't
the
wanna
brand,
take
what a
lessons.
brand stands for, it is for fun, it is for personal development, but it's also, it's not a boring school. It's not something else, yeah.
And it's something, a question which I was asked on a few occasions, whether this is a kind of sect. I've been asked that too. And we are not. We are neither religious nor, I mean, we are not a sect, so we are not school. And thank you, Philip, for mentioning the school, because that reminded me of the other association. Because you could say you are doing toast, that's all right, but being associated with a kind of religious
I think this is a very important point, because very many people, and I'm surprised by that, not that I'm not a fun person or that I don't want this to be fun, but that the first thing they put down is fun. And I would think that people that come to our club and say, oh, there's fun, will probably be disillusioned, because we have a very disciplined, very high standard of discipline, high level of professionalism, and it is, for some people, it's a major step to stand up and speak in public, and there are great fears involved. So
It might not
I
be
think
the word,
this point between we're not a school, we're a club, where it's also fun to learn and to be disciplined and to do hard work as well, preparing speeches. I think this is a challenge which we need to address.
In fact, so maybe that it's not fun, but a word like positivity,
No,
positive energy.
I wouldn't dismiss fun, because yeah, people are afraid to stand up the first time, but they can sit there for 3, 4, 5 sessions and have fun watching other people, listening to speeches, watching table topics. It is fun.
But I think it's also a distinctive feature compared to the professional life, where you work hard, where you have discipline, where you have responsibility, etc., etc. But either you do not have fun, or you just do not dare to be funny in a business meeting. Maybe it's different from the individuals, but maybe it is something where you would like to bring in some humor, or be more spontaneous and laugh more. But what would my boss think? What would my colleagues, my peers, my subordinates think? So here you can have all the serious things, but also allow yourself to be humorous and funny and laugh.
And I think if we think back about the remarks of our guests at the end of the meeting, the first time they come, this is nearly systematically the first thing they point out. So I think it's a really important dimension, actually.
Richard,
One word,
two comments.
One word that didn't come up there was supporting. I think that the support you give to your members is a really important aspect. And for me, that supportive atmosphere in the club.
And to longer standing members as well.
Okay, sorry, I've said the two comments, and there was in the blue, the writer leader.
I find a very important word that's missing in some situations at the moment is empathy, because a lot of people rise to a higher level and they assume that a person they expect a standard at a very high level, and this is the school thing coming in too much, that people